Yo, what's up, y'all? Make sure to watch the video all the way to the end for full context. But yeah, today we have round 2 of the media guy versus the real street nigga on Clubhouse. Now, if you haven't heard already, there was a chat room inside of the Clubhouse app that featured Joe Budden, Deshaun Jackson of the Philadelphia Eagles, and Jay Prince Jr., the son of the well-renowned Jay Prince. Oh yeah, and producer Young Berg, who is a good friend of Joe Budden, was also in there. And for those of you who may not know who Jay Prince Jr. is, just know that his father is a very important figure in the hip-hop world, and that he's notorious for getting problems solved for people. And that's the extent of information I'm gonna give on him. But Jay Prince Jr. also has stake in discovering the now probably most famous rapper in the world, Drake. But yeah, in that chat room, Jay Prince Jr. confronts a very quiet Joe Budden about disrespecting people that Joe Budden interviewed. Now, I'm very big on the Joe Budden brand, and the Joe Budden podcast and just Joe Budden period got me through a lot of tough moments. And to my knowledge, the only times I think Joe Budden has ever disrespected or seemingly disrespected any guest was his stint on Everyday Struggle. One of his infamous moments with Lil Yachty.
I enjoy conversation, bro.
Then tell me what you want from hip-hop.
I don't know. I mean...
You don't think that's a question you should answer at some point?
What do I want from hip-hop?
Or are you leaving all of this to QC to figure out?
Nah, I mean, I'm making music, bro. I'm just having fun. You know what I'm saying? My fans love it.
You're going to have a problem with just having fun and finding.
What did you want from hip-hop?
You're going to have a big problem with just having.
Yeah,
you don't sound like you very aware with what's going on, and you one of the hottest niggas on earth.
But what do you want me to say? You want me to say?
I want you to be aware of your business. I want you to know whether you're in a 360 or not. I want you to appreciate the culture that changed your life and took you from college dorm rooms eating fucking oodles and noodles. I want you who's well-spoken and articulates himself well.
My nigga. Chill.
Yeah, hold on. Yo,
I'm just wait.
That never went to.
And an even more infamous moment, the BET Awards with the Migos, where the interview setting was very stressful and Joe Budden didn't really care what the Migos had to say and dropped the mic prior to walking off the set.
I feel like there's like a running joke with you being left off bad and bougie.
I ain't left off bad and bougie. You think I'm left off bad and bougie?
Say again?
You say I'm left off bad and bougie?
What'd you say?
You say I'm left off bad and bougie?
Yeah.
Do it look like I'm left off bad and bougie?
What'd you say?
Do it look like I'm left off bad and bougie?
Nah. I mean, that's one thing I like about the group, because ever since when you were in jail, even though you might see one or the other, y'all move as a collective.
All right, we got to wrap this up, though.
Okay. My bad. I be trying to jump.
I couldn't
wrap
hear
it up
anything
then.
over there too. Close it.
Close it.
Hey, listen, man. I wish I could talk to the Migos longer, man. It's one of my favorite groups. I've been covering for so long. I'm glad they succeeded, man.
Hey, man, you guys are nominated tonight. Have a good show.
Hold on. Wait. No. Wait.
Where's their security guard? Chill.
But in this chat, Jay Prince pretty much pressed Joe Budden. He said how he didn't like how Joe Budden treated people that he interviewed on his podcast, which I find kind of funny because Joe Budden only interviews people he likes on his podcast, because his podcast platform, which he said it's not for interviewing people, it's not for promo. So if he has somebody up there, it's usually like a close friend of his or somebody he's trying to be friends with. Jay Prince then proceeded to say how he didn't like how Joe Budden critiqued people in public and that he should critique them in private. And then when Joe Budden said, well, I talked to a lot of these young guys in private, Jay Prince said, well, nobody knows about that. And I was just like, yo, come on, man. And I listened to like 30 minutes of just stuff like this. And I listened to it like 3 times just so I can have proper context. So leave a like if you appreciate my efforts so you won't have to sit through 30 minutes of that. And like I said, 3 times. That's 90 minutes of my life wasted. I didn't gain anything from that conversation, except that real street niggas like to tell media personalities how to use their platform. And then the same thing that they criticize the media for doing, they go ahead and they do it to the media guy. 30 minutes of conversation, and all I got out of this was that Jay Prince is not a fan of how Joe Budden runs his platform. And Jay Prince kept like hinting at the fact that Joe Budden doesn't run his platform with integrity. And I believe that's the farthest from the truth, because things that I want to hear Joe Budden talk about, sometimes he says, yeah, I'm not talking about that. This has real life implications. I'm gonna save that for everybody else. I don't want to speak on this. And Joe Budden says that very frequently. So that narrative is dead to me. What I got out of this was that Jay Prince wasn't a fan of how Joe Budden handled the Lil Yachty situation, which I have no problem with that, even though Jay Prince is one of the most connected people in hip-hop, and he could have talked to Joe Budden 3-4 years ago when that happened. He could have personally contacted him, but he waited 4 years to go on this chatty house Clubhouse app and talk in public and get screen recorded and try to lil bro Joe Buddens. And I made a video about DJ Academics and Meek Mill and a whole bunch of other rappers that were having a conversation in Clubhouse and how unproductive that was. But in hindsight, that was way more productive than the Jay Prince and Joe Budden conversation. Because in the Clubhouse, they had a whole bunch of girls that just like, oh my god, Jay Prince. Like, they didn't provide any like value to the conversation. Every time somebody says something to Jay Prince that made sense, he said, I'm not talking to you, or get out of here. And he packed up Young Berg. He told him to get out of here. He said, yo, Joe. No, he said, what he say? He said, yo, why every time I say something to Joe, you got something to say, bro? Get out of here with that. And I'm just like, bro, it's a conversation. And my boy Young Berg was like, yo, I thought we were having a conversation. But Jay Prince wasn't hearing that, man. He wasn't hearing that. It was nothing you could tell that man. He was over there trying to throw his weight around because his father's respected. So he was throwing around his daddy's clout. That's what he was doing. Because people fear Jay Prince. It's the truth. Sorry. People are scared of Jay Prince. Jay Prince fixes problems for rappers. And Jay Prince knows that Joe Budden is not going to get disrespectful, because Joe Budden has expressed his respect for the Prince family thousands of times. And one thing that Jay Prince said, Jay Prince Jr., I keep saying Jay Prince, but I'm referencing Jay Prince Jr. But one thing that Jay Prince said was that Joe Budden speaks on things that has nothing to do with his era. And I think that was the most silly thing to say ever, because that's kind of the problem with society now. A lot of old heads don't speak on things that don't have anything to do with their era, so they don't pass down the positive things that they learned in their generation, and then the next generation fails due to that lack of communication. But hear me out. Joe Budden, he kept it respectful. He realized he was talking to a brick wall, and he got out of that chat room. And I think this was probably the craziest thing that I've seen in the chat house, because after Joe Budden left, Jay Prince started talking like trash, like he got disrespectful after saying he wasn't gonna get disrespectful with Joe Budden. And for the most part, he didn't get directly disrespectful with Joe Budden while Joe Budden was present. But then he started talking about how he would slap somebody. He was like, yo, I'll pluck him on the head, F that nigga, all of that. He was talking like really hot. And you're not gonna see that clip in most of the clips on YouTube. If you do, I'll put the link in my description so you can listen to it. But I think that was the most tasteless part of this whole Clubhouse interaction, because he claims to be, you know, a real street nigga, a real respected guy, well respected, well mannered guy, gangster, 10 toes, a part of the Prince family. And I think that's some real soft stuff to do. A lot of these guys like to see the media and other people move with some type of principles, some type of like guidelines and all of that, core values, but they don't apply those same things to themselves. And I think that's a very big problem, because then you get a whole bunch of miscommunications, you get a whole bunch of hypocrisy that's exhibited, and there's just a whole bunch of problems because nobody ever meets eye to eye. But that's all I have to say on this topic. If you like this video, let me know what you think in the comment section, and if you made it this far, hit subscribe, because I'm gonna keep dropping videos. It's your boy Buck, and I'm out. Peace.